Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great week. I wanted to briefly show you this quick jewelry box makeover. We have some particle board exposed. This is the perfect experimental piece. So I had just done a little bit of Bondo repair work on that corner and then very carefully sanded it not to create any more damage. And since there were some bubbles as well, I chose to use clay to cover that up and texture powder later. So after priming my piece and letting it dry, I went ahead and started to make some clay. The reason I chose clay instead of resin for this project is, first of all, just it's an experiment and cost. Resin's a little pricier. And then also because of the curves that I'm going to try to align my clay with. It's a lot easier to do that with clay. If you watch my videos, you know that that's just cornstarch that I have dusted my mold with. Some of these larger pieces are more difficult to do with clay. Resin is a lot faster. But like I said, this is going to be curving a little bit and we're just going to go for it. This is also the bottom of my bag of clay that's been mixed with cornstarch probably way too many times, so it's a little more difficult to work with. I had explained in a comment before that I use Mod Podge to glue my clay, but I don't usually do it on furniture. It's usually just smaller projects. So I wanted to try it and just make sure it bonded as well as my tight bond that I normally use would, because it's a lot easier to use, especially when you're doing kind of intricate pieces. It's a lot easier to put the glue on the surface rather than the clay. So I wanted to give it a try, and it did seem to work really well for me, as long as you get enough coverage. And this is also going to cover up that little bubble right there. I wouldn't try it with the tight bond glue this way because it dries differently when it sticks out. It kind of gets flaky, but that could be okay as well if you want to get the flakes off. I don't know, that would be another experiment. Maybe I'll do that sometime just to see. If you saw me just pinch that wing in, just know that was a big no-no. I should have put some water there, and I am telling you guys that so you don't make my same mistake, because it did crack later. Sometimes you can get by with it, but this time I did not. Since I tend to do more rustic vintage style pieces, I have a little more freedom for that because cracks don't make or break the design. And then this is just having fun, layering different molds, just looking at what I've got, adding them in a pleasing manner to me. Artistic discretion here. So I let the clay fully dry, and now I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I'm going to do some texture powder mixed with some paint that I just don't have a ton of paint left for, so I'm going to pour it right into that container. I did not measure again, I'm sorry. I just eyeball it, and then I try to get the consistency I want. For this piece, I'm not trying to go back over it and expose a different layer or anything, so I didn't go quite as thick as normal. It's not quite peanut butter. It's a little runnier than that. And then I'm just applying it all over with a stipple motion, which is basically just dabbing the paint on. So for my next layer that I'm hoping is going to be my last, I'm going to try this paint sample from Heirloom Traditions that I ordered. I've wanted to see if it really doesn't need a top coat. A lot of them say they do. That was a mess up. I broke one of those. So unfortunately we had to go with Plan B and add some different hardware. Anyways, there was definitely not any wax or sealer needed on top of that. So I was very pleased with that. I'd be curious to try it in black and definitely like a darker color, just to see. If you have and you liked it or didn't, just drop a comment, let me know. Save me the trouble from ordering more, please. The color that I had chose for this piece is called Oyster, and I really did like how it looked. And then this is just gold rub and buff that I'm using to accentuate my clay pieces, and I also brushed it on all of my hardware. That way I would have a more cohesive look. And here is the result. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great week.